Libra, hello, welcome to your reading. So let's just jump right in. Let's see what the energies are, what your advice is, and at the end of this video, I'm gonna give you time to think about your questions. We're gonna do 3 rows and I'm gonna give you a yes or no answer so you can check in with your intuition, and essentially you can also check in with my intuition and with how we're, let's say, correlating, and you can decide if you want to be connecting with me here in this place based on that, right? So we've got nothing in the reverse, we got the Fool card, and we've got exhaustion in the reverse. It's exhaustion is what it's called, and we've got guilt reversed at the bottom. Okay. So you're here, the Fool, standing in between nothing and exhaustion in the reverse. And at the bottom we've got guilt. And I feel like the guilt, everything that is reversed here is in the past, right? So nothing but the Fool. The Fool is the only one who's in the present. This void, this nothingness that you've been through, this, we can call it transformation, this existential, it's not an existential crisis, the nothingness, the void that we go through when we transform, when we go through the dark night of the soul. It's not... It can be felt with the lack of everything, or it can be felt with the potential for anything, right? Let's read the nothing card, because, nothingness, it's major arcana, it's the number 5, so that is the Hierophant. I'm using the Osho Zen Tarot today. Nothingness. Being in the gap can be disorienting and even scary. Nothing to hold on to, no sense of direction, not even a hint of what choices and possibilities might lie ahead. But it was just this state of pure potential that existed before the universe was created. All you can do now is to relax into this nothingness. Fall into this silence between the words. Watch this gap between the outgoing and incoming breath, and treasure each empty moment of the experience. Something sacred is about to be born. Buddha has chosen one of the really very potential words, shunyata. The English word, the English equivalent, nothingness, is not such a beautiful word. That's why I would like to make it no-thingness, because the nothing is not just nothing, it is all. It is vibrant with all possibilities. It is potential, absolute potential. It is unmanifest yet, but it contains all. In the beginning is nature, in the end is nature. So why in the middle do you make so much fuss? Why in the middle, becoming so worried, so anxious, so ambitious? Why create such despair? Nothingness to nothingness is the whole journey. Beautiful, beautiful, Libra. So, a reminder of how we all are created and how we all go, and how nothing is forever, but everything is. So beautiful. We're gonna read the Fool card, Libra. I didn't know that the description of this card is so, similar to what I was thinking about when I pulled it. Beautiful. The Fool. Moment to moment, and with every step, the fool leaves the past behind. He carries nothing more than his purity, innocence, and trust, symbolized by the white rose in his hand. The pattern on his waistcoat contains the colors of all four elements of the tarot, indicating that he is in harmony with all that surrounds him. His intuition is functioning at its peak. At this moment, the Fool has the support of the universe to make this jump into the unknown. Adventures await him in the river of life. The card indicates that if you trust your intuition right now, your feeling of the rightness of things, you cannot go wrong. Your actions may appear foolish to others or even to yourself if you try to analyze them with the rational mind. But the zero place occupied by the Fool is the numberless number where trust and innocence are the guides, not skepticism and past experience. Yeah, that is a message right there for us, right, Libra? A fool is one who goes on trusting. A fool is one who goes on trusting against all his experience. You deceive him and he trusts you. And you deceive him again and he trusts you. And you deceive him again and he trusts you. Then you will say that he is a fool. He does not learn. His trust is tremendous. His trust is so pure that nobody can corrupt it. Be a fool in the Taoist sense, in the Zen sense. Don't try to create a wall of knowledge around you. Whatsoever experience comes to you, let it happen, and then go on dropping it. Go on cleaning your mind continuously. Go on dying to the past so you remain in the present, here now, as if just born, just a babe. In the beginning, it is going to be very difficult. The world will start taking advantage of you. Let them. They are poor fellows. Even if you are cheated and deceived and robbed, let it happen, because that which is really yours cannot be robbed from you. That which is really yours, nobody can steal from you. And each time you don't allow situations to corrupt you, the opportunity will become an integration inside. Your soul will become more crystallized. Libra, that is exactly what we're talking about here, right? That is exactly what we're talking about. A lot of thoughts were kind of running through my mind when I was reading it. Obviously, right? The mind is just, doing its thing like it always does. What is the most important about this is that we know this from personal experience, right? The trusting and wanting to trust, even though the people just, in a way, make a fool of you, right? It's like, I don't know. Let me just put in a bit of a personal experience here. So it's probably, we're gonna be probably having similar stories, because that's how we are here on this planet Earth. When we come here and we are, we are here to be reborn. We are here to show people how this doesn't really make sense at all, this existence, or it does, but in a different way than the normal human thinking it does. Then we probably have a really similar experience. So let me put in a bit of a personal experience here. I used to think that when the trust is everything, really. I used to think that trust is everything. And that when I open up and trust, when I'm gonna trust everything and everyone, and I'm gonna trust even when I feel bad, around someone, or when I feel like I am not sure if I should trust or not, that is gonna bring me the most enjoyable experience, let's say. And I mean, I was a totally ideal victim in that state to, someone who just wants, someone who blindly trusts them, and who just doesn't ask too many questions, and is, a nice, good girl, let's say. So in the end, what has happened is that I have realized, thanks to my trusting everyone and my want to trust everyone and everything, and trust even in the moments when I didn't really feel like trusting, I realized how it really is, how it truly is. And it was the most empowering experience of my whole life. And now I'm looking back at the moments, right, and I see how my intuition was never wrong, how my intuition was never telling me something that wasn't right, and it was always warning me, always telling me about what it feels like it's going on, and it was true in the end, always, right? So it's important to see that even though sometimes we go against our intuition, that does not mean that our intuition is not always right. It just means that we have decided on something else than going with it. And for me, it's one of the most empowering things, seeing that, yeah, you can be totally, completely wrong with what you're doing, but you always have it inside of you have it inside you have, you always have the knowing of what is right for you in the moment. And that's exactly it, like it is connecting with the Fool's card, right? Because we have the inside knowing of what is right, or at least we always have the inside knowing of what we really don't want to do, and what we don't feel like is right for us to, interact with, to do, to try to do even. We don't need to be doing these things, and we don't need to be, it's a double-edged sword, because we don't need to be even thinking of what we should be doing if we feel like we don't want to be doing anything. You know what I mean? So even the thoughts, even the thought patterns, even the trying to come up with something, even that is it's sometimes much bigger than anything else. Like, it's sometimes much bigger than going through something undesirable in the material, right? Like, torturing yourself with your mind is enough. And it's also connecting with the Nothing card, because, we are, even though we are humans and we are thinking and all that, and we are having a very, very critical God-like mind, I mean God-like, more like devil-like, even though all that, we still are coming from nature. We still are going to be ending in nature. Everything starts and ends with nature. And it's just, I don't know, seeing the humans just completely building up that world that is based in imaginations and fantasies and rules that are not existing and all that. It's funny. It's just funny from the perspective of above and beyond, right? We're gonna read the exhaustion card. This is the portrait of one whose life energy has been depleted in his efforts to keep fueling the enormous and ridiculous machine of self-importance and productivity. Self-importance and productivity. That's what was on my mind, Libra. Are you? Okay. He has been so busy keeping it all together and making sure everything runs smoothly that he has forgotten to really rest. No doubt he can't allow himself to be playful. To abandon his duty for a trip to the beach could mean the whole structure might come tumbling down. The message of this card is not just about being a workaholic, though. It is about all the ways in which we set up safe and unnatural routines for ourselves and, by doing so, keep the chaotic and spontaneous away from our doors. Life isn't a business to be managed, it's a mystery to be lived. It's time to tear up the time card, break out of the factory, and take a little trip into the uncharted. Your work can flow more smoothly from a relaxed state of mind. A man who lives through conscience becomes hard. A man who lives through consciousness remains soft. Why? Because a man who has some ideas about how to live naturally becomes hard. He has continuously to carry his character around himself. That character is like an armor. His protection, his security, his whole life is invested in that character. And he always reacts to situations through the character, not directly. If you ask him a question, his answer is ready-made. That is the sign of a hard person. He is dull, stupid, mechanical. He may be a good computer, but he is not a man. You do something and he reacts in a well-established way. His reaction is predictable. He is a robot. The real man acts spontaneously. If you ask him a question, your question gets a response, not a reaction. He opens his heart to your question, exposes himself to your question, and responds to it. I feel like the coffee is dripping everywhere. You're the first reading I'm doing today, and I just had to have an iced coffee with the reading today. So yeah, beautiful energy. We're gonna read the guild also, but let me tell you a bit about how it was connecting for me first. I was let me just find the guild real quick. Yeah, so this is it. This is exactly it. We are working on becoming natural. We are working on becoming ourselves in every single moment of this existence. It's not gonna be like poof and it happens. No, it's just what it is. You cannot, you can let go of everything. I wanted to say that you cannot let go of it and you cannot let go of it and see it happen, but it almost is like you can just let go of it and see it happen, right? So yeah, interesting. Our goal here should not be, and this is the message, our goal here should not be accomplishing something. It should not be gaining a specific amount of, I don't know, money, followers, a specific amount of success, a specific amount of whatever it is. Our focus here should be how do I live the most out of my true potential? How do I use my potential? But not even that, but more like, how do I integrate what I am into this world? How do I integrate the soul? How do I how do I let myself go through this experience almost? How do I let go of the control? How, yeah. And there are some scary parts to this, letting go of control. And some parts of our lives we did let go of control. Some parts of our lives we need maybe to have some amount of control. But in those things, maybe it's work for you, right? Maybe it's, I don't know, like hobbies and all that. You need to, take control to do something. But in these things, we really need to integrate the flow, let it flow, get into the flow. Let me just read the guilt really quickly. Guilt is one of the most destructive emotions in which we can get caught. If we have wronged another or gone against our own truth, then of course we will feel bad. But to let ourselves be overwhelmed with guilt is to invite a migraine. We end up surrounded by nagging clouds of self-doubt and feelings of worthlessness to the point where we cannot see any of the beauty and joy that life is trying to offer us. We all long to be better people, more loving, aware, true to ourselves. But when we punish ourselves for our failures by feeling guilty, we can get locked into a cycle of despair and hopelessness that robs us of all clarity about ourselves and the situation we encounter. You are absolutely okay as you are, and it is absolutely natural to go astray from time to time. Just learn from it, move on, and use the lesson not to make the same mistake again. This is exactly what I was thinking about before I was starting to do this reading, when I was sitting outside meditating or thinking about meditating. That vision was coming to me. And it's the energy of, I don't know. I was thinking about, I'm helping some people get rid of some, let's say, toxic behaviors, toxic habits, right? But at the same time, I'm letting them have them also. And that is kind of the point. It's I'm working with these people, so it's not like, like my partner or my friend or whatever. But if I'm seeing somebody in my surroundings getting addicted to something or being addicted to something, of course I'm also, taking a response to that. I'm not just overseeing it and just, being cool with it. I'm also giving my input. But I was thinking about how the negative self-talk is everything, and how the number one, the first step that you need to do, the number one step that you need to do when you want to get rid of a behavior, let's say it can be whatever, from negative self-talk, right? To overeating, to literally drugs, to addiction, to whatever, intimacy. I'm not gonna be too explicit in this video because I don't want YouTube to be mad at me. But it's when you do something that you want to get rid of, and you start the negative self-talk, then it's all going wrong. You want to do it again because you want to cope with your feelings, you want to cope with the addiction, and the addiction is, the addiction is your way of coping with your feelings. And when you start the negative self-talk, you experience extreme level of distress. So then you want to come towards that addiction, that coping mechanism again. And that is not the way. That's just not the way. So when you're using that addiction, whatever that addiction is, just tell yourself it's okay, it's only once, it's only this time, I'm not. I don't know. How you are thinking about it, but you just need to comfort yourself. That it's okay. It's okay for you to be doing what you're doing, and everybody is making mistakes. Everybody is having some trouble, and it's just okay. It's just okay. You just need to comfort yourself like you're a baby. Like you're a baby, because we are in the end like big overgrown babies, right? So we just need to comfort ourselves. We need to be here for ourselves. We need to not be too harsh on ourselves, and just really, yeah. This is the enslavement card, and I feel like it's pretty clear what it wants to be, what the spirit wants to show us with this. Yeah. So keep up the good vibes. You're not enslaved by anything. Only your mind is the enslaver here, and yeah, you're not a slave of anything, even though maybe sometimes you feel like you are. Blessings to you, my Libra friends, and I'm gonna see you soon.